Good Sunday evening, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell here alongside Meteorologist Austin Evans
Howdy.
on this weather impact alert night. We are tracking a strong cold front that is moving through, about to move into really the northwestern corner of the Kentuckiana viewing area, and will continue to move through our area over the next few hours. Now, we are looking at primarily a damaging wind threat, but when we get these kind of squall lines, or they're also known as QLCSs, we can have that isolated tornado threat. And so that's what we're watching tonight. We'll go ahead and dive into it here. And Austin, this is a look at the radar. Obviously, right now, anywhere you're seeing those yellows, or it's almost like an orangish color filling in, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. So those are due to wind gusts around 60 miles per hour. And then the red, we do have one isolated spin up, it looks like down near Evansville. And we have been watching a few of these isolated spin-up tornadoes along the line this evening. This is one of those setups where we don't have much instability really, but we have a lot of shear or wind energy, that wind that is changing direction and speed with height. So with that, you can get these little notches in the QLCSs or the squall lines, that skinny line of thunderstorms that you're seeing there. And with that, we do get those pesky, obviously spin-up tornadoes that we're somewhat used to in Kentuckiana. This is when we do have a tornado threat, a lot of times it's something like this. So once again, we are in our streaming studio powered by Humana here, and we're going to give you this stream as really for the next probably 20 minutes or so. Just note that if we do have any rogue tornado warnings, we have to hop off here and run into the studio and cover that. But these are our current alerts right now. Austin, do you want to explain what people are seeing on here?
Yeah, Mallory. So we got a tornado watch in place. That's all the counties in pink, mainly in southern Indiana at this time. And I don't expect them to be shifted very far south, though we do have some places in Kentucky, not Kentuckiana, but in Kentucky to our west under that tornado watch. It goes now until they extended it to 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Yeah.
Eastern. So my query on the map is now out of date, but it goes until 10 o'clock Eastern. These counties under a tornado watch is Du Bois County, Lawrence, Orange, and I forgot the other two, but there are 5 counties total.
Jackson
And Jennings. I knew they started with a J. Obviously, on top of that, we do have those severe thunderstorm warnings in that yellow-orange. The entirety of Kentuckiana is under a wind advisory. That is a bit of a lesser concern right now, but the wind advisory is one of the reasons we're getting severe thunderstorm warnings out of this, or amongst it, because we're seeing wind speeds exceed that severe threshold of 58 miles an hour. On top of, we're going to see gusts well over 50 miles per hour, especially when the line begins moving through. So those are our current alerts right now. We only got in the viewing area a severe thunderstorm warning affecting Bedford, Indiana at this time.
Yep. So we'll be watching this as it tracks once again west to east, or somewhat northwest to southeast throughout the next few hours here. In terms of wind speeds, obviously these are wind speeds outside of any kind of storms for most of us right now. We're getting that southerly wind that's been giving us all of that warmth today, record warmth, right?
Record warmth, 75 at the airport.
75 was our record high for today's date. So these are sustained winds. Wind gusts obviously even higher. So we're starting to see areas like Hardinsburg creep toward that 40 mile per hour mark and into that wind advisory territory. So even ahead of the front and behind the front, outside of the storms, we're still tracking very gusty winds. So be aware if you still have obviously your Christmas decorations outside, or it's trash day tomorrow. That might be blown down the street here. But this is pretty impressive. So I'm going to try to pop us all up. That's not what I wanted. Maybe this one. No.
The one,
you know, guys, I was trying to do something fancy there, but we're just going to stick with the basics here. So these are your temperatures across the region.
It is 8 p.m. in December, and it's 71 degrees in Louisville. What are we doing?
I don't know. Unseasonably warm weather. I mean, obviously we talked about that record warmth, but you can tell where that front's cutting through. So Evansville, they're getting the storms right now. It's 57. On the backside of that front, we have more 40s, 30s. And then if you look even farther to Des Moines, 12.
Someone call up in Des Moines, see if they're
So
okay.
this is very strong front that's cutting through the region here. Current dew points also show a good visual here. We have all of that moisture in the green, those dew points well into the 50s. So we're getting some of that southerly flow in here. That stretches all the way up to Fort Wayne has a dew point right now, 60, 55 in South Bend, 57 in Detroit. So those are high dew points, and we've had high dew points around all week.
When we're looking at dew points, even during severe weather season, we're usually looking at like 60 or above. We're looking for them when forecasting severe weather. This is a winter setup, so the rules kind of don't apply somewhat,
Right.
depending on what you're looking at. So dew points in the 50s in December, it's kind of wild. So, which leads to the severe threat that we're dealing with. And if we were seeing dew points any higher than this, it'd be a whole lot worse, most likely.
Right, for sure. So obviously, here's the SBC outlook that I'm sure many of you all saw today. They have trimmed away, it looks like, the northwestern edge of this, where obviously the front has already gone through. But in general, the yellow, that's your level 2 out of 5, and that's where we are looking at that main tornado threat, I would say, that spin-up threat. For our particular area, at least, just where we have the greatest shear, a little bit of instability. Once again, this time of year, you don't need a ton of it because it is a winter setup. So that is definitely different from a spring setup. And then the idea is as this line continues to push through the area overnight, it will weaken. Now, we're still expecting some gusty winds regardless. Through that level 1 out of 5 for your severe weather outlook through this evening and into the early overnight hours. But the general idea is obviously the line will gradually weaken a bit.
So we're live on WHS 11 Plus. We're also live on Facebook. If you have any questions, please drop them in the Facebook comments. I'm keeping an eye on them. If you happen to have any questions, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Yeah, for anybody just hopping on, once again, Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell, along with Meteorologist Austin Evans. We have this cold front that's slicing through the region this evening, so we're keeping an eye on it. Hopefully we stay in just the severe thunderstorm territory, and we're just dealing with some damaging winds. But obviously, with these kind of setups, we can get those spin-ups, and we've seen a few of them off to our west and northwest this evening. So that's why we're on here this evening with you guys, and obviously keeping a close eye on the radar here. So we can take a look at the Futurecast. And Austin, you said this has been doing a pretty good job with the event today. It's going to cut through here pretty quickly. By 10, 11 o'clock, that leading edge, once the leading edge is out of here, that's your severe weather threat.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
It might still be raining, but it will still be breezy.
Yes.
But we'll be done with severe weather after the leading edge moves through. I've been using both our in-house model, which is called the graph. I usually just call it in-house because no one knows what graph means. And then the HRRR, which a lot of people know what means. Both of them, short range, high resolution models. They've both been doing a good job of this system, especially when everything kind of started agreeing on the timing yesterday, because when we were forecasting this Friday, it was much different.
Right. Yeah, the timing with this one has been kind of weird, which Austin and I talked about when I got in today, how earlier in the week it looked like it was going to be a lot later. And then as that high resolution data came in, it really pushed it back, or pushed it up, I should say, in time, where it was going to move through a lot earlier this evening and early tonight rather than overnight and into tomorrow morning, which let's just get it through here. Now, tomorrow's going to be a much different story. We're going to be in the 20s.
It couldn't be any more different.
Yeah. And we're still going to have those gusty winds around. And so wind chills in the teens, it looks like tomorrow.
Big time. It will never feel like the measured temperature tomorrow.
No.
It will never feel like the 30s.
No.
It's gonna be too windy. It's gonna be too cold. So it's make sure you haven't thrown your jacket into deep storage.
Right.
Hopefully.
You're definitely going to be needing it tomorrow. And it's going to be a shock to the system. I mean, after the 70s that we had today, which also just felt strange for December. But for the rest of the week, it's kind of back to reality, back to winter, 30s, some low 40s in here. So we're back to being below average across Kentuckiana.
That's the way we will finish off 2025. It's been a weird winter so far.
Very active, very snowy. But, you know, we mentioned this on Whether or Not, too, when we do some of these this day in history. We've obviously had severe weather in December. here in Kentuckiana. So we can go from really one extreme through another, and as that atmosphere is trying to reach that equilibrium, severe weather can occur as we're trying to go from the very warm to back to the cold.
Well, and that's this is kind of that thing when you're taught about the weather in elementary school, they boil down severe weather down to cold air mixing with warm air, and that's exactly what's going on right now. It's very this is very textbook. It's a QLCS, a line of thunderstorms that Kentuckiana is very much used to at almost every chance. Every now and again, we'll get the discrete cells, but. This is a very textbook system. It's just happening in December rather than May, when we may usually see stuff like this.
Yeah, so I just looked at the update. Obviously, we get good communication with our local National Weather Service office here based in Louisville. We have a few counties that are also covered by Indianapolis, our northern tier. But an update from one of the Mets there, they're starting to think that this line might be becoming a little bit more elevated. So that's good.
That's a good thing.
Because
I was also seeing a comment in the Louisville chat from someone from Du Bois County noticing that it looks to maybe have been weakening, and the warning, is that warning still up, that one near Evansville?
Here,
I was looking at the rotation of it earlier, and it wasn't looking all that impressive. It was actually kind of difficult to find where the couplet was. So if we pull it up, it's still there near Evansville. It's actually right across the river near Morganfield and Sabree, Kentucky, Henderson. What does velocity look like on it? I just want to see if we can see the rotation. Very good. And if you're looking at me on, are we on? I can't tell which. Okay, we are on the radar. It's a broad rotation.
Right.
It's a very broad rotation.
Which, I mean, I will say with these kind of setups, I do not envy the National Weather Service because it's tricky. You're looking for
how long is this line?
Notches, and yeah, you're looking at every little segment of this line
from Paducah up to Indianapolis.
Yeah, to see if there's any of these inflow notches that are trying to rotate. Okay, it looks like
that's a big old warning.
That is a big warning, but hey,
it makes sense that which tells you that this line has a lot of very strong wind in behind it. It's being pushed.
Yes,
it's not bowing. From what I can tell, and that's a good thing.
Not
we
really.
Don't want that. But there's a lot of wind in this system, and I am almost certain that the wind was what tripped that warning, not necessarily anything else. But the 58 mile per hour sustained wind, it's probably higher than that, especially when it gusts.
Yeah. So this is a new severe thunderstorm warning. It's for a huge chunk.
It's a large chunk and a large chunk of time. 45 minutes from now.
Yeah. So Jackson, Jennings, Lawrence, and then that continues northward there. Brown County, Bartholomew County, areas that are outside of our viewing area.
Not at the Bartholomew County.
But you can tell this is going here. If I just put on, sometimes I like to just take off the radar and put on warnings. So you all can see the visual there of these severe thunderstorm warnings that stretch east of now Indianapolis. So this is along that leading edge. It does look like that tornado warning down near Evansville.
They've either canceled it or allowed it to
expire.
And the warnings in this line, ever since about 6 o'clock, this line has had warnings all along it the whole time, which it is to be expected, especially with how warm it is and the wind threat we've had. So it's not like it's not going to plan, and I'm thankful that it is, because we were expecting stuff like this.
Right.
The tornado threat has been low and even remained low even after the slight risk and the tornado watch was issued. It still was relatively low. It's just with this type of line, we could get those quick spin ups. They're usually not long lasting. They're usually not particularly powerful. But they could happen. They could still cause damage. Thankfully, we're not seeing it yet, and hopefully that will remain to be the case. And most of the tornado threat is in southern Indiana. Of
Mhm.
course, we are going to be keeping an eye on the entirety of Kentuckiana, but most of that threat is in southern Indiana.
Right. And I'm just looking at some of the texts that we get from the severe thunderstorm warnings. Severe thunderstorm warnings. The line is moving. It's jogging along pretty quickly, moving east at 55 miles per hour.
Highway speeds.
So, the idea is, I would say in the Louisville metro between 9 and 10. You think it's 8:17 right now.
It's
Maybe closer to 10.
it's booking it sometime in between 9 and 10.
Mhm.
It will be likely past Louisville by the time we go on air at 11.
Yes.
So and with it being tilted, all lines of storms like this are tilted from the
Mhm.
southwest to the northeast, and I'm sure there's a scientific reason for that I'm not finding in my head yet. But so the northern area is getting it a little bit before everyone else. HRRR putting it right at like 9:30.
Yeah. 10 o'clock. Out of Louisville, definitely by, your show at 11. Out of our DMA by midnight, if that.
Yeah,
It's always Adair County. So our southeasternmost county
Adair County and Taylor County.
is, is Adair County. And so we have to wait until that clears. And then after that, maybe just some rain. Gusty winds will continue overnight, but those will not be severe limits at that point. And then, just take a look at these temperatures. So we're in the 70s right now. We'll be in the 60s, 50s, 40s, and then 30s
It's going to be
by 3 o'clock in the morning.
and apparently by 7 at least Graph was putting like temperatures in the lower 20s
No, boy.
by 7 o'clock. So
Mhm.
that's a 12-hour swing. That's a 12-hour gap and a 40 to possibly 50-degree swing in
That's
temperature.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah, I had the air conditioner on in the car on the way to the station.
Yeah.
That will not be the case Friday.
Very, very warm. All right, let's kind of just loop back through the radar again quickly so everybody has a good idea of what we're looking at here. So obviously we are watching this line of storms, and all we really care about in terms of severe potential is the leading edge of it. So that really skinny part of it. Regardless, there is heavy rain in this. I know we didn't really talk about that part. But there will be heavy rain along the line. You're obviously seeing reflectivity in that red color. So it will be loud, breezy, rainy when it rolls in. But once you get past that leading edge, then your severe weather threat will be done for the night.
Then it's moderate to pockets of heavy rain, and then that won't last all that long, maybe an hour or so, and then that should move out, maybe 2 hours actually, and then that should move out from over you, and then the cold comes. Which, by the way, we're not expecting any major impacts from this cold. Any moisture left over, if there is any sort of wraparound moisture from this, will likely fall as some sort of snow or mixed precip. But we're not expecting any impacts out of that. If we did get slick spots, and maybe take it easy a little bit easier than you would tomorrow morning. If we see slick spots happen, they're going to happen on bridges or overpasses. The road, the actual surface of the ground is way too warm. One of the
We've
good
been
things about
so warm.
how warm we've been this
Yeah.
week is that this deep freeze that we are getting isn't going to be all that impactful, even if we're getting rain right before it. We're not going to see everything freeze solid. Bridges and overpasses being the exception, maybe.
Right.
They still might not. It's still going to be rather warm, those surfaces.
Right. Well, and one of the good things is when you have this much wind, it's like that
It also
helps.
dries things.
Yeah, that really helps kind of dry things out a little bit. So we'll be watching that. Obviously, Matthew Willoughby's in the morning, and he'll let you know if there's any issues traffic-wise with slick spots. But really our main concern is with the line this morning. And then, it will be a shock to the system, though, obviously, once this rolls through, and we're back to reality tomorrow. But here's that tornado watch. It has not been extended in terms of area, but the northern tier has been extended through 10. So that's why this one still says 9. It's actually just the northeastern counties that have been extended through 10. But I think most of it will be around 9 o'clock. And then, we still have that wind advisory through tomorrow morning. So this is just your gusty winds regardless through 7 a.m. This is due to Wind gust up to around 40. That's kind of the threshold for wind advisories. And then you can see pockets of higher gust, especially with the storms. But that timing, once again, we're watching it currently in our northwestern most counties, around Bedford, Jasper, and then that will continue to head Louisville's direction over the next hour or two. And then it's past here, and it's off to our east by midnight. So pretty quick mover there.
And that's the one good thing about these QLCS storms is that they usually move through pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen one move slowly in a long time.
Right.
And those are rough. Those are usually marathons. But this will move through quick, and once it's over, it'll be like almost nothing happened for the most part. There might be a bunch of twigs out in the yard, or perhaps your garbage can across the street, but we should come out of this relatively unscathed, because we're not seeing any bowing features, which a bow echo is not fun. I had one of those a couple years ago right over my house in Louisiana.
Oh no.
Those are not very fun. We're not seeing any features like that, thankfully. That would be really intense wind. We're talking like 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts there. We're not seeing that. It is going to be loud and windy and noisy, but it's not going to be anything to that level.
All right. Do you have any questions on Facebook we need to answer?
Oh, I'm not seeing any questions that are pertinent, and I do appreciate everyone tuning in to our Facebook.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm going to stay here. You're going to stay here until the line clears tonight. Austin will be back on air at 11 p.m. On WHAS. But of course, we will hop on air if a tornado warning is issued, and we stay on air until that warning has expired, canceled, what have you, or moved out of our viewing area. But we're just looking at a few severe thunderstorm warnings at this time. We still have that tornado watch for some of our counties in southern Indiana until 10 p.m. So just pay attention, stay weather alert through the rest of this evening. This moves out of here over the next couple of hours. Download our app, and we'll be right here with you as needed. So thanks for tuning in, and have a great and safe rest of your night.